All right, so 5G, it's everywhere you turn these days right here. Like it or not, 5G is here, but we're going to take a deep dive today and see what's really going on beyond the hype.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just, a simple upgrade from what we had before.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like just yesterday we were celebrating 4G, finally free from those dial-up dark ages, and now suddenly it's all 5G all the time. Did 4G just not live up to the hype?
Well, 4G was huge back then. It was a total game changer, no doubt. But we're all using so much more data these days, streaming, video calls, all that. 4G just wasn't built for this level of, demand.
So we're basically data hogs who broke the internet.
Kind of, yeah. Our need for speed and bandwidth is a big part of what's driving this whole 5G push.
Makes sense. Yeah, but this TechTalk Nexus episode we're looking at today, they were throwing around phrases like 100 times faster, near instant data transfer. What does that even mean for regular people?
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah, can you break it down for those of us who don't speak fluent tech? What are the actual differences between 4G and 5G?
Okay, well, for starters, speed. 5G is aiming for speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G. We're talking downloading a whole HD movie in seconds.
Seconds? Come on, that's just showing off.
Well, it's definitely possible with 5G. But speed's only part of the equation, right? We also got to talk about latency.
Latency, right. That lag when you're trying to, pay a bill online at the last minute and the page just sits there.
Exactly. That's latency. With 4G, it's usually around 50 milliseconds. 5G could bring that down to 1 millisecond.
A millisecond? I can barely even picture that. But I bet my gaming console could.
It's definitely a game changer for gaming, and also for things that, are maybe a bit more critical.
Like self-driving cars, right? Which need that, instant information to, not crash.
Exactly. A self-driving car has to process information and react immediately. That tiny difference in latency we're talking about, it could be the difference between a safe stop and, yeah.
Okay, so speed and latency are getting huge upgrades. What else is new?
Capacity. How much the network can actually handle at once.
Right.
Think of a huge concert, thousands of people, and everyone's streaming video and posting pictures at the same time. 5G can handle that, no problem.
So it's no more "could you hear me now" dropped calls in crowded places.
Theoretically, no. 5G can handle way more devices and data all at once. It's built for a future where pretty much everything is connected. Your phone, your laptop, even your fridge.
All right, so we've got crazy fast speeds, almost instant reactions, and the ability to connect, everything. That's cool and all. But what does it actually mean for me on, a Tuesday?
Yeah.
How is this going to change things?
It's funny, a lot of the applications sound like something out of a movie, but they're a lot closer than you think.
One that really got me was remote surgery. Are we seriously talking about surgeons operating on people from miles away? For real?
Oh, it's real. It's happening already.
Yeah.
With 5G, the surgeon can control robotic arms and get, instant feedback as if they were right there in the operating room.
That's wild. What does that mean for, people who don't live near big hospitals or specialists?
It could be huge for making sure everyone has access to the best doctors, no matter where they live. Imagine a surgeon in New York could operate on someone in, rural Alaska.
Yeah.
In real time.
No kidding. That's some serious Star Trek stuff right there. Okay, so healthcare. Got it. What about self-driving cars? Everyone's talking about them, but will 5G actually make it happen?
So self-driving cars, they need a ton of data to, not run into things. They have to talk to other cars, traffic lights, even people's phones, all in a split second. 5G can make that kind of communication possible.
So are we going to see self-driving cars on the roads anytime soon, or is this still a long way off?
There are still some hurdles, but 5G is a big step in the right direction. It gives those cars the really reliable, crazy fast connection they need to, not cause accidents.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, they also mentioned smart cities. What's a smart city? Smarter than your average city.
Basically, picture a city where everything's connected. The traffic lights change based on traffic flow. Sensors check the air quality. Even the garbage cans tell you when they're full. And it's all linked together by 5G.
So the city's running itself. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and it's not just about being fancy. It could mean less traffic, cleaner air, and a more responsive city government.
Okay, so 5G isn't just about, downloading stuff faster. It's about connecting everything and making things, work better.
Exactly.
What about things fun stuff? They talked about virtual reality and augmented reality.
Oh, you mean those old VR headsets, the ones that made you feel sick?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, 5G could change all that. Imagine gaming, training, even virtual travel with zero lag.
So no more motion sickness from laggy graphics. Sign me up. What about, like, regular jobs? They mentioned something about 5G making factories smart.
Yeah, that's called industrial automation. It's basically connecting all the machines and systems in a factory using 5G.
Okay. And what does that do?
Well, it means you can keep an eye on everything in real time, fix problems before they even happen, and even control things remotely.
So less downtime, more efficiency. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, so far 5G sounds pretty amazing. But I'm guessing it's not all sunshine and roses, right? What are some of the downsides?
Well, like with any technology, there are some challenges.
It sounded like one of the big ones was infrastructure. Like they were saying we need a ton more cell towers for 5G to really work.
Yeah, that's a big one. 5G uses these higher frequencies, which means they don't travel as far.
Okay.
To get the kind of coverage and speed they're talking about, you'd need towers practically everywhere, like every few blocks in some cases.
Wow, every few blocks. That's a lot of cell towers.
Yeah, and it gets complicated, right? Because who's going to pay for all of that?
Yeah.
And will it be everywhere or just in, cities and wealthy areas?
So not just a technology problem, but like a whole bunch of other problems too.
Exactly. And then there's the security aspect, right? More connections, more potential for hackers to, do their thing.
Right, because if everything's connected.
Everything's vulnerable, and it's not just your laptop anymore. It's your car, your house, potentially even like medical devices. It's a big deal.
Okay, so security is huge. What about just the cost for people to actually use 5G? Will it be affordable?
Yeah, that's another good question. Will everyone benefit equally, or is this going to create a digital divide? It's something to think about for sure.
So much to consider. But it sounds like, ready or not, here it comes.
The TechTalk Nexus people also spent some time on the whole idea of making sure 5G actually works as well as it's supposed to. Like, how do we optimize things?
Yeah, there are definitely things we can do, like using network monitoring tools.
Okay, what are those?
They're basically like an early warning system for your internet connection. They can spot problems before they become, huge issues.
So like a heads up if your connection's about to go down.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's something called QoS, quality of service. It lets you prioritize certain things on your network. So like my Zoom call is more important than downloading a movie.
Exactly. And the movie won't make your Zoom call all glitchy. And then there are CDNs.
CDNs? What are those?
Content delivery networks. Basically, they're networks of servers all over the place. They store copies of stuff you watch or download so it's closer to you.
So instead of streaming a movie from across the country, it's coming from, like, down the street.
Something like that, yeah. Faster loading, smoother streaming, all that good stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other tips for getting the most out of 5G?
They actually talked about Wi-Fi, which might seem kind of basic, but
Important.
totally. Even with super fast 5G, a bad Wi-Fi signal can really slow you down. Upgrading to the latest Wi-Fi, making sure your router's in a good spot, things like that can make a big difference.
Right, because it's only as strong as the weakest link, right? So we've covered a lot of ground here, from self-driving cars to smart cities, to the challenges of actually making 5G work for everyone.
Yeah, it's pretty wild when you think about how fast things are changing.
It really is. And like we've been saying, it's not just about faster internet. It's about how we use that speed to create a better, more connected, and hopefully more equitable future. It's up to all of us to keep asking questions, to think critically about these advancements, and to make sure that we're shaping this technology, not the other way around. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of 5G. We'll see you next time.